Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm excited to be here. We're going to have a great time. Go ahead and have a seat. This course is called First Steps. Those of you here in the room are being able to see this in person, but most people around the world are going to be watching this at home. They're going to be watching this on their phone. They're going to be watching this on their tablet, on their computer, maybe watching this with their team. And what I want to do as we start this course is, first of all, congratulate you. Congratulations on making the decision. Congratulations on not only making the decision to get involved with network marketing, which it's not perfect, but it's better. If you have an entrepreneurial bone in your body, it's better. And also congratulations for taking the step to get this course. There are millions of people who join our business every single year. Some decide to invest in their education and some don't. You're different. You've already, it takes so little to separate yourself from the crowd. It takes almost nothing to separate yourself from the crowd, but you do need to take a step. You can sit back and wait for success to happen to you, or you can step in and be part of the success that you deserve in your business. So this step, whether you've taken it or the company's taken it for you and delivered this to you, whatever that is, just know that this is a big deal. And the few hours that we can spend together, what I want to do is I want to share with you what I wish somebody would have shared with me. Because when you get involved, it's this strange thing. When you first get involved in network marketing, it's like you're in a fog a little bit. You know, you're just kind of wandering around. You can't see your hand in front of your face. It's the fog's so thick. You know, and then everybody's telling you to run. Run. I don't want to run. There might be a cliff like 3 steps in front of me. I'm not running. I'll walk, thank you. Take 1 step, try the product. Okay. Fog lifts a little, take another step. Go to an event. Oh, fog lifts quite a bit. And you start to get a vision for your future. You start to see that success might be possible for you. Might be. There's this strange thing. I know when most of you made the decision to get involved in network marketing. I know it. Here's when you made the decision. Somebody presented something to you. Now, not just as a customer. I'm talking about it as a distributor, right? Somebody presented this to you. And you started to think, oh, I think I know somebody else that might want to do this too. My sister, she'd be amazing. That crazy person at the office that's always selling stuff in the break room, they'd be unbelievable. I've got a friend who does stuff like this. That'd be once that candidate list, think back when you were watching that presentation and you were imagining, could this be for me? I think if you're honest, and I think if you really recreate that moment, what you're going to see is once that candidate list of other people that might do this gets long enough, then your decision got easier. Once you were able to say, well, if I could get those people going, maybe it would reduce my risk. If I could kick the snowball off the top of the mountain, see what happens. Maybe I could do a little bit less and I could get a little bit more. Maybe I could just be in the right place at the right time. Like I've heard about these other people who were in the right place at the right time and they took action. If I just take a little action, maybe I could just get these people going and I could just go to the beach. Right? And your sponsor probably didn't discourage that thought. Your sponsor probably said, oh, it's easy. It's easy. Piece of cake. Is it easy, yes or no? No, it's not easy, but it's worth it. It's worth it. It's going to be work, of course. It's not magic beans, and we're going to talk about that, setting proper expectations. We're going to do all that. But as we start here, let me just give you a way to get the most out of this course. As you're watching this course, here's how to get the most out of it. What I would encourage you to do, first time through, just watch it and listen to it and don't get stuck in the weeds. Just absorb it one time through, okay? Let it just fall on you one time through. Put the notes down for a second, one time through. Then the second time through, then start to make some notes, right? You don't learn something when you remember it. You learn something when you can't forget it. So our objective here is to get you to the point where you own this, where you got it, where it's solid for you, okay? That's our goal, is get you to that point where this becomes part of you. And you have a clear roadmap. You have a clear game plan in order to be able to do what you need to do. How many are ready to have a clear game plan for your business? Yeah? So repetition is the mother of skill. Repetition is the mother of skill. I listened to my first training course. My first training course was, the very first one was a bootlegged audio cassette from Jim Rohn, who spoke at a Shackley convention a million years ago, called The Seed and the Sower. And he did this talk, and I listened to this thing, and it totally transformed me. But I didn't get the value from listening to it once. I got the value from listening to it over and over and over and over and over and over and over again until I could do the talk myself. I got his first course, Challenge to Succeed. This 3-hour course that absolutely revolutionized my thinking. But it wasn't the one time that I listened to it that changed my life. I listened to it 100 times. I listened to it when other people weren't listening. They listened once, they thought they got it. Oh yeah, I heard that course. I'm sorry, that's the problem sometimes with books. Sometimes we finish the book and we go, oh, I read it. I got it. And you're not done yet. Now, it might be harder to absorb the second time in a book, but in an audio program or in a video program like this, make this the background music of your life for a while. Put this on while you're working on something else, and at least be listening to it while you're writing something else, while you're surfing through your social media, while you're doing whatever you're doing. Get the audio pieces of this in your phone when you're working out, when you're mowing the lawn, when you're doing the laundry, when you're doing whatever the tasks of your life are. That's how you get the value out of this, okay? So you're going to get value, number one, from just enjoy it. Number two, take the notes, turn it into a plan. And then number three, you know how you really get the most value? Take the plan that you've created from the notes of this course and teach it to somebody else. That's when you really internalize the information, is when you're able to teach it to another person. So let me tell you a little bit of my story, okay? Some people say I'm pretty successful in this network marketing business. I've done well. I'm not the best network marketer in the world. There's people in this auditorium that are more successful than me, more skilled than me, they've earned more money than I did over the course of my career. But I do believe I've developed a knack for taking what works, what people have been able to do that succeeds, and combining it, distilling it down into a way that other people can understand, okay? So that's what I'm going to try and do here for you today. But when I first started, I was 22 years old, and I was scared. I don't know if any of you ever been scared. Anybody? I was scared to death. Like, what's going to happen in my life? I barely got out of high school. I barely escaped high school. Formal education just did not fit how my mind worked. I couldn't learn in 20-minute increments. It was really difficult for me. If they gave me 3 months of mathematics, and then 3 months of history, and then 3 months of science, and then 3 months of language in English or whatever. Then I would have no problem. But 20 minutes at a time, my brain could not engage in that. So I barely escaped high school. There's some negotiating going on at the end of my high school education. Like, do we want to keep him? Should we let him go? Let the world deal with him? Fine. I barely got out of high school. C- average. I have a 1.8 GPA for high school. Not my proudest moment. I applied to college. How do you think that went? Not too well. All my friends went off to college. I went to community college for a minute. I majored in General Hospital. Anybody remember? Anybody remember General Hospital? Luke and Laura, come on. It was a big time back then. I just watched Luke and Laura in the community center, every day, hanging out. Started with 16 credits. Found out you could drop classes. They didn't care. This was community college, by the way, and ended up with 8 credits. I have a 2.0 GPA. I have no plans of finishing my degree. Not that I don't think education is important. I do think education is important. I would just tell you at that moment in my life, for whatever reason, I was not prepared or equipped to be able to engage in that form of education. I believe formal education, as Jim Rohn will tell you, will make you a living. Self-education makes you a fortune. Thank God. Self-education showed up, and I had a vehicle to be able to improve my life, right? So I started off, where do you go? Where do you go if you're a young man, 22 years old, no college experience, no trade skill? Where do you go in order to be able to earn a living? You start at the bottom. You work in food service. You work in hard labor. You work in, doing stuff other people don't want to do. That's where you start. That's where I started. I had 18 jobs by the time I was 22 years old. For real. That's not a joke. That actually really happened. I did everything you can do for minimum wage. Everything possible, I think. Bagged groceries. I sold peanuts at the Hubert H. Humphrey Metrodome. Peanuts, get your peanuts. Got fired. How does that happen? Hard to do. Did everything you can do in a restaurant. I waited tables, served, cooked, bussed, hosted. Everything you can do in a restaurant. High class establishments like Denny's. Grand Slam breakfast. So I did all of that stuff. I did manual labor, roofed houses, painted houses. Anybody ever roof a house in your life? Anybody still doing it? No, because you're going to die. Give it some time. Roofing life plus time equals death. You're going off. I almost died like 3 times by the time I was, after a year and a half, decided the minimum wage might not be worth it. I was like, so last job I had prior to getting involved in network marketing was to sell real estate. Anybody ever sold real estate? Okay. Selling real estate. And the only reason I did that is because my father and his partner started this little real estate business, and they needed somebody to get a license in order to be able to show the homes that they owned. And I'm doing nothing. So I get on, I go get my license, and I start showing those homes. This is 1987. And in 1987, I made, guess how much I made that year? $45,000. Not too bad, right? Was it because